here we are, Nick and Knarf, doing music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. And it's always a good day when we can do one of our favorite bands of all time, Steely Dan. But we're going to throw a curve to you today. We're going to be playing a song from Walter Becker's solo album and then a song from the Dan themselves.
So many great choices. I mean, you know, we've already done 7 Steely Dan, Double Dan days with. Please check them out if you haven't. Look into our catalog here. If you love Steely Dan, we've done 7 Steely Dan videos because we love them so much. They are probably our second favorite band. Top 5 for me.
They're my second favorite band of all time behind the Beatles. And the thing I in my opinion, humble opinion, probably the second greatest duo to write songs of all time.
They are amazing. You're talking about the 9 great Steely Dan albums, and then you got the solo work from Donald Fagen. He had 4 solo albums. Great Walter Becker, his partner, did only 2 solo albums. He did his 11 tracks of Whack, which is going to be the song we're featuring today called Book of Liars, but we're not doing the version from the album. We're doing the version he did live from the Steely Dan Alive in America album, which is a beautiful version of this terrific Walter Becker song. And he also had a second album called Circus Money that came out in 2006. 2 great albums, and then he unfortunately died tragically of esophageal cancer in 2017. Great loss. But Walter Becker and Donald Fagen each produced each other's albums, and they performed on each other's albums, the solo work. So there's this tremendous connection to the guys, even though they broke up from Steely Dan officially, and they still work together on a number of other projects. And finally, we're going to send you home with a great choice from their debut Steely Dan album, Can't Buy a Thrill, a terrific song called Kings, about all the different kings in the world. A wonderful, wonderful song that I know you're going to enjoy.
Great lead on it.
You're a Steely Dan lover, Donald Fagen lover, Walter Becker, or all of the above. We're glad you're here joining us today on Nick and Knarf. We're going to have a great show. Anyway, and if you love what you're going to hear, and you haven't, we'd like to invite you to please subscribe, like, and share. Hit the like icon, notification bell. Tell your friends about us. We're caring for your ears, one ear at a time.
Let's get into it, Knarfster.
Again, we got to thank all of our regular guys, right? Thank you all for all the love and support. We love you very much. Now we are going to Walter's song, Book of Liars, that originally came out on his 11 Tracks of Whack album from 1994. But again, this is played on the Steely Dan Alive in America album. It's a live version from 1995. Very tasty, really an outstanding song. So let's get into it. This is Book of Liars.
Just now, girl, when I can't remember exactly what it was we thought we had. You know, I waited so long, girl, and I came so far to see that you're not always who you say you are. And there's a star in the Book of Liars by your name. There's a star in the Book of Liars by your name. Santa Claus came home late last night, drunk on Christmas wine. He fell down hard out in the driveway and hung his bag out on the laundry line. You know he's got a Cobra gunship for his golden boy, and there's a Hello Kitty for his pride and joy, and a silver star in the Book of Liars by your name. They hung a star in the Book of Liars by your name.
Liberace on piano.
Dandy Don.
Time exploding, the long night passing, electrons dancing in the frozen crystal dawn. Here's one left stranded at the zero crossing, with the whole of his half-life left to carry on. But then the world's much larger than it looks today, and if my bad luck ever blows me back this way,
Boy.
well, I just look in my
Sweet.
book of liars for your name. Well, you know I'm just gonna look in the book of liars for your
So if you want to know what effect Walter Becker had on, or what contribution he had to Steely Dan, just listen to those melodies and realize all the songs that had the hint of these changes,
Yep.
these beautiful change of courses, and these beautiful addition of instruments. Those are the songs that Walter
You
probably
see the
wrote.
simpatico of why they were drawn together and collaborated so powerfully for so long. I mean, they were almost the same wavelength musically. Lyrically, you know, they had, and a lot of simpatico lyrically, okay? I don't know to what degree Donald wrote most of the stuff, or Walter contributed. I mean, I don't know exactly. But the point is that together, they were as potent and powerful and creative and dynamic a twosome, a songwriting twosome of anyone in the history of rock music. What a gorgeous friggin' song. Wasn't that beautiful? It's a pity he didn't sing more on the Steely Dan albums.
That's the part
you
I
know?
don't understand. He could have done a couple of songs per album.
Yeah, but God, what did you guys think of Book of Liars from the Steely Dan Alive in America version of his tremendous song?
And you never heard him do harmonies. They could have probably done a couple of nice harmonies together, you know?
I think he liked staying in the background. If he didn't have the foreground, he wanted to stay in the background more frequently than not. And he always wanted to put his thumb on the creativity and the process. He didn't necessarily have to be up front being the star singer. They knew that Donald Fagen's voice was the signature voice of Steely Dan, and they didn't want to disrupt it too much. But what a great song. Leave us your comments, please. Tremendous.
Okay, let's get
so
to the
wonderful,
Dan.
so wonderful. Okay, now to top off our little Don, Walter, and Dan show, we were thinking, well, what perfect song, what other song haven't we done, or from an album we haven't played in a while from this, and we came down with their first debut album, their great album, Can't Buy a Thrill, and a song that never was a big hit on the radio, but is one of the tastiest songs on this album with one of the finest leads.
Awesome.
If you never heard it before, it is just fantastic. So here it is, Steely Dan, both Dan and Walter together, and the rest of the gang, Skunk, Denny Diaz, David Palmer, and Hodder, and here it is, Kings.
I still recall the way he led the charge and said,
Get ready for this lead. This is one of the finest leads on this album. Hey! What a fascinating constructed song, isn't it? It's really interesting. That lead comes out of nowhere and accelerates this song in such an amazing way that is totally unexpected. Totally unexpected.
Yeah, you're sitting there going, where is he going with this? And, you know, because he's going, then he goes off into outer space.
Shit. I mean, but that's
So
what we
good.
loved about early Steely Dan. That one of the, most richest complex leads on almost any Steely Dan song. I mean, there's some great friggin' leads
they
in a
got
lot
some
of Steely
great
Dan
leads.
songs.
I mean-
but that song is really underappreciated. It never was a hit. I mean, it was a deep cut. They played it, on FM album rock stations. You'd hear it once in a while.
Occasionally.
But what a tremendous song. What did you guys think of Kings? Isn't it really an outstanding song? I mean, this whole album, though, Can't Buy a Thrill is one of the top
let's
100.
listen to the whole album.
All right, let's
Go
put it
ahead.
on. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We're running out of time. We can't do it. But, Jesus, leave us your comments. Let us
Three
you know.
really unique songs, two really unique songwriters. One only remains, that's Donald Fagen. Of course,
Yeah.
Becker passed away in 2017 at the age of 67.
Donald is still touring. I mean, and he's been touring with Steve Winwood and doing a lot of different things. Hopefully, you'll be able to catch him. We were lucky enough to see him in 1974 or 73. I think it was 74. We saw it twice during the Pretzel Logic tour when the band was still the original band before they broke up and became Walter Becker and Donald Fagen and a cast of thousands.
It was cool because they had, when they toured, they had two drummers.
Yep.
Of course, they had Skunk and Danny playing the lead guitars.
The drummers, by the way, were Jim Hodder and Jeff Porcaro.
From Toto, right?
And Michael McDonald was on the tour playing keyboards along with Donald Fagen. And then they also had Royce Jones doing backup vocals and stuff too. What a tour. We were so lucky to see him twice because we never got to see him again. I never went back to see him again, even in their later incarnation.
And you know when I said that these are probably the second greatest songwriters of all time, I'm not necessarily saying lyrics, whatever. Their melodies, I mean, how many great songs? 50? 70? I mean, how many great songs do they have?
There aren't many disappointing songs on any of their albums.
Monkey in Your Soul. I mean, okay, you got a couple of them that you could go, all right, but they're still fun.
They're
Who cares?
always interesting,
But
always imaginative, always creative,
99%.
fabulous musically, fabulous lyrically. They are among the giants of rock and roll, and we are so blessed to have enjoyed so much of it, and we sure hope you enjoyed our little twist on our normal only cover Steely Dan.
And, when we're recording this today, recently, passed away yesterday, was
Randy
Meisner
Meisner,
from the
yeah.
Eagles, another iconic band, American band.
77.
And an iconic singer.
We're losing some of the greats from our generation, but they're still in our hearts, and the music is still there.
I didn't know that he and Glenn Fry and others sang backup vocals, I think, on the song FM. Or Fagen and Becker.
Yeah, from the movie soundtrack, from the album, from the movie FM. I mean, God, these guys all did a lot of stuff. In fact, Timothy B. Schmidt and stuff worked on Royal Scam and on Asian, did some of the backup vocals, on some of those songs.
Wow.
And so there's a big connection between the people in other groups and them. Only they stayed in the background, but Donald Fagen and Walter Becker were just such a unique force, bringing together such amazing talent to make these great albums.
It's sad that almost daily we're hearing of, deaths of people that we just absolutely...
Sinead O'Connor 5 days ago.
So here you go.
Hey, life marches on, but let's enjoy the music and celebrate it every day because it's a tremendous legacy. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed our show today. And if you haven't and you loved what you heard, please subscribe, like, and share. If you haven't,
post notification
be a part of
bell.
That's right. Be a part of the tribe. We'd love to have you. We've got great stuff. We love having fun, caring for your ears. And the rest of you, we love you.
Until next time, it's Nick and Knarf from Tucson signing off saying we love you guys.
We love you guys. Peace out, everyone. Ciao, Bambini. Bye-bye.